Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I know I missed like 20 other genders apparently, but hey, how's everybody doing? This is David V back once again. Another episode of The Hang here. It sounds a little weird. That's because I'm not doing it in a regular microphone. I'm out here in the streets of New York, recording off my phone. I'm doing this because I have to just record this intro and outro because I've been sitting on this episode for quite some time now, and one reason or another, not putting it out. So we have to put it out now. It's about time that you guys heard the return of Miss Casey Drane. Finally, we had her back. She was literally the third guest ever. The last guest right before the pandemic hit. So it's nice to have her back on the other side of that. And you get to hear our little stories about what happened between now and then. And yeah, luckily she's been busy. She's been doing stuff. Go check her out if you're not following her. Starring Casey Drane. That's her on Instagram and just about anywhere else. That's her artist name. So go check her out. I'm already babbling too much. This is 1 hour and a half. Too much already. But I do want to tell you that we have our latest JXD video out, which is another dance video. It's a little mashup of a couple popular songs you guys might know and love. And yeah, the dance is their thing as always. If you want to go check that out on YouTube, go to the JXD Entertainment page on YouTube or Instagram or anywhere else that you watch the videos. Other than that, let's just get straight to this episode. Here's the lovely Casey Drane.
It's feel like it's been a while for me, but I don't know about you guys. But welcome back to The Hang once again. If this is your first time, welcome back. How can I welcome you back if it's your first time? But yes, welcome back if this is not your first time. And if you've been keeping up with us, you'll see that this is a familiar face, Casey Drane. A little background. I don't know if you guys know how we met. Hey, actually, let's revisit that. How exactly did we meet?
Yeah, we met at Queen's Theater, and
exactly, there you go.
And then you were like, "Oh, you know this person?" I was like, "Oh shit, I know that person. You know this person?" And then we were like, "Oh, Queen's College, this and that, whatever."
Exactly, yeah, that's another place that we were at. I don't think at the same time.
I don't think so.
Yeah, but we are both Queen's College graduates, and yeah, Casey, I mean, she's I've told you before, if you've heard, but she's just like a multi-talented artist. Like, it's hard to just say she's a singer, she's an actress, she's a fashion designer. It's like, it just, yeah, you just like, I think you're like me. You just maybe get bored doing the same exact thing every day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Too many interests. ADHD.
Yeah. Well, that's what they say, but I call it creativity. Right. Last time, how's it been? I kind of talked to you a little bit here and there during the pandemic and 2021. We finally got together sometime in late last year. I think it was to do more Queen's Theater stuff. But how's it been since we last visited you at your place?
Pretty good. I'm sorry for the sirens.
That's cool.
I live right up First Avenue, so
Natural,
pretty good. I updated my studio quite a bit since last time we were here, so I got a bunch of cool, fancy new equipment, big monitors, and otherwise, I've been doing a lot of stuff, I guess. Like you said, I can't sit still. Like I'm always doing something new, and I am doing stylist work with a company in LA, and for my friend Petra. Wow, that didn't want to come out of my mouth. So basically, like I help pop artists. I guess like any genre, but mostly it seems pop artists like find a unique image
that's
with
cool.
their fashion. Yeah, and I'm hoping to get Petra into like Fashion Week this fall for spring 2023. Yeah.
How is that like? I'm just curious, like what I mean, obviously you're there like picking out clothes, but I'm curious mentally, like how you assess these kinds of things, because I've never had to do that. I only think about that for myself. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, so I go through and look at kind of what they're already wearing, and then I do everything online. I give them, because here's the thing, like before I did any style advice kind of a thing, I was already obsessed with fashion. Like it's been kind of a side thing for me, just like for my own, something that I just enjoy. Like in like fifth grade, if you were to read my diary, you'd like on every page you'd see a new Cheetah Girls outfit. Design, so kind of makes sense. I do wardrobe for theater too, so it kind of like all meshed together. My degree is in costume design and vocal performance, so.
Oh wow, look at that. I thought I don't know if I asked you this before, but I thought it was acting or theater.
Yeah, my degree was BFA theater, performance and production. My emphasis was in production was costume design, and my emphasis in performance was vocal performance. Yeah, which is actually more acting than singing, but I did it to do singing.
So let's see if we're once again on the same page. When you went to college, were you thinking like, oh, I'm gonna pick the major that I like to do, or were you thinking like, let me try to study something that I might not be good at so I could like get better at that? Which one was it? Or was it maybe something completely different then?
I don't even know where my head, when I was 17, when I picked my degree, and I just stuck with it because I'm a Virgo, I like commitment. So basically, when I was like 15 or so, I was like, every kid wants to be famous. And at 15, I was like, yeah, that's the thing I'm going to go for. So like, how do I get famous? It's like, okay, well,
okay.
I always loved New York. So I was like, great, Broadway, I'm going to do theater. And I did theater, here and there growing up. But my main thing at that time was music. So I went and auditioned for the School of Music at the school that my voice teacher had kind of like recommended. And they told me, no, go to theater. So I went over to theater, and it's Texas State. So they have a very good musical theater program. So I was very excited. And I emailed the director of the musical theater program, like, hey, I'm interested in doing your program, and what do I need to do to get in? And here's like what I'm taking my first semester and this and that. And she's like, it's a 4-year degree and you have to audition. And I never auditioned because I didn't want to start over. It was a 5-year degree, and I was trying to finish at the same time as my partner who had already basically tested out of his freshman year. Okay. So it wasn't in the cards for me, but it ended up being a blessing in disguise because I only ended up really spending 2 years at that school total. I did the Disney college program, and then I came to New York for the National Student Exchange, and that's where I got my favorite fit. I went finish my degree and moved right back up here. So that's kind of how I got here. I mean, I guess I didn't ever really have a plan. I just kept rolling with the punches.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what you think more doing, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was just like, I'm gonna be famous, with no plan whatsoever.
But yeah, the idea, the seed is always there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Now I'm
always your like, was that always your goal to end up here in New York?
I don't even know. I mean, after I did the National Student Exchange, yeah, I was like,
Mhm.
I love it here. But I always had this kind of like, you know, idea of New York. When I was first or second grade, I sang New York, New York. I loved Frank Sinatra. I was obsessed with him. And I was like, great. So like that's kind of like where I want to be. I didn't know anything about it. I'd never visited before when I moved here. Yeah, so that's again, I just kept going. Like I was like, oh, this is great. I'm gonna keep doing this.
Yeah.
And now it's, you know, 10 years later.
So you were into Frank Sinatra as like in second grade, or what? That's
Yes.
I mean, that's pretty cool. Now that I look at it, I mean, probably if I was your classmate, I'd be like, all right.
Yeah, Frank Sinatra, Britney Spears, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's cool. Was it like, what exposed you to that kind of music? Like, was it your parents or?
We actually had a running, I lived on base with my mom, on Air Force Base. And we had a running joke that like, how did I know all of these old songs? And it would be like, oh, there's a karaoke station at the youth center, which is like the daycare, the military daycare. And I would just go over there and like learn songs on karaoke. I don't know how I was learning the song, like karaoke style, but I totally did. And I would know I had that thing was I would just like go there and spend all day there and just like sing the whole time. Like I was known for that. And so when it like came to the talent show, I just picked my favorite song, and that's when I sang New York, New York for the
That's
whole
cool.
base. Yeah.
And this is how talented Casey is. Back then, I mean, I don't want to reveal our ages, but back then there wasn't YouTube. Just look up, you know, how the song sounds. She just like her brave little self went up, and it's like, all right, let's figure it out. That's
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, there was not really an internet.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you just, you know, back then you went places.
Mm.
That's cool though. That's really cool that you got exposed to that at a young age. Yeah, and that's a good guy to be exposed, right?
Yeah. And a couple of years ago when I was working at this Italian restaurant, I met Tony Bennett. I think I said this in the last interview, and he gave me $10. And I carried that $10 around with me everywhere for like 3 years. So
That's
I
cool.
still have it.
Oh, hey, maybe you got hungry one of those days and pulled it.
No, Tony Bennett gave me that money. It's special.
Definitely is. Should have got him to sign it or something.
No, I couldn't even speak to him. I was like, here's your coat.
That's still cool. That's something not everybody could say.
Mm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring up. By the way, we do have fan questions, or we have a couple of them, and then one of them kind of just tied into what we're talking about. Actually, this is kind of a two-parter.
Okay.
It was what inspires you daily, and what's your biggest inspiration. So it's kind of one and the same, isn't it?
I would say the best way to describe it is I follow the dopamine. Whenever there's I learned that on ADHD TikTok. I like if whatever I like doing, I'm just gonna do it until I burn out and I don't want to do it anymore. It just seems that I keep circling back to the same couple of things. Like I keep circling back to music, and I keep circling back to creativity and stuff like that. So and now I'm not working in hospitality anymore, so I'm around creative people all the time. I'm doing like background acting and costume work and stuff like that. So I'm just like busy, and I've got actor friends. I'm obsessed with my new post-pandemic life. I mean, it's still kind of a pandemic,
Right, no, but I get what you're saying. You're kind of told like, oh no, your career is not good enough to be vital for everybody, so we're stopping it. And yeah, now we're back to, like you said, being around creative people. And luckily for me, I feel like I'm in the same boat as you. Like I can now like make a living off of just being creative and
Yep.
just doing artsy.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
yeah, and that I don't know about your parents or your family, but I always used to like. I feel like even till this day, like why don't you just go get a real job?
What do you mean? I have a real job. People pay me to do what I do.
Exactly, and it's such a, in my opinion, it's such a good feeling on a daily basis, isn't it?
Yeah. I think people really feed into the starving artist kind of mentality where they think you'll just be grateful to
Right.
get anything. And it's like, no, I know my worth.
Yeah, exactly. And eventually you I mean, I know you're definitely there now where you can start kind of demanding like and rejecting things. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't call it rejecting because it sounds bad, but that's really what it is. It's like you only have so much time in the day and you kind of have to pick and choose your battles, right?
Yep. I have turned down jobs because it wasn't enough money or because it seems like a shitty situation or it wasn't what I have that luxury now, which is so cool because we were told this whole time that that just didn't exist and it wasn't possible. And I'm just like, what, why didn't I do this sooner? I had no idea.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I'm in the same boat. It's like I could have done this years ago, but if you think about it, do you think you would have been ready back then for what you do now?
Ugh, I wanted it more, I think. No, but I think that may have been what was keeping me from it. I think I wanted it. I liked wanting it more than I wanted it.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes sense, but now I honestly like kind of don't. I lost interest in trying to be famous. Like I don't need that. Like it just seems like a lot of work, honestly. Like it seems like more work than I'm willing to do for what?
Right, yeah. Um,
So
I've also thought about that because it's like I guess you could be famous and like that helps with like making a better living, but like is that even true? Like,
well, there's a difference. I mean, there's a lot of artists that make a living that aren't famous.
Exactly, right.
I'd love to be like a D-lister. You know what I mean?
Right. That's funny
Like,
because everybody's like, I want to be A-list is like,
nah,
oh yeah, once you get there, you probably realize it might not even be worth it.
yeah, yeah, no. I feel like being an A-lister is like probably torture.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even want to bring this up, but like, the thing that happened over this past weekend, at the Oscars.
No comment.
Yeah, no comment, but that's kind of like what you're talking about. It's like those A-listers like have this image to keep up with, and it's like, do you guys think about that daily? Because that seems very tiring.
Yeah, it seems exhausting to have to keep up appearances all the time. I don't know. The whole time I was just looking at her dress. That dress was
Uh,
stunning.
yeah, yeah, that's what I like to see. That we're sticking to the art part, you know,
Mm.
and that's what I personally was when I'm going through my little Instagram feed, like, oh, I want to see who won. You know,
Yeah,
instead we're kind of keeping up with this celebrity thing once again, this fame thing, and it's like,
it did like create a lot of cool memes though.
right, yeah, I can't get enough. I mean, I think I could get enough of them by this point, but they're I'm still laughing. I'm still laughing along. But yeah, it's like, yeah, it's weird because I'm pretty sure, I don't know about you, but I am there to like, I like to see that kind of stuff, like award shows when I do see them for inspiration. And it's like, who should I be looking to so I can get to that like skill level kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like during the pandemic, one thing I did was like looked up at all the movies that won like best score, best sound design, and I would watch them, like not necessarily watch them, but more listen. And
Mm.
I'm like, that's what I want to do at one point. And like, do you feel the same way when you watch those? Actually, I want to know what you focus on, because I just told you what I look for. What are you looking for?
Um, well, I don't like watching movies. But I get what you're saying. Okay, I'll give you two examples. I went and saw Chicago recently.
The
Uh,
show or the movie?
no, the Broadway, on Broadway.
Okay.
And I was like, when I watch Broadway, first of all, I always cry when I watch Broadway, just like period, just like being in the moment. And so, and generally speaking, like I'm also like, oh, I want to be up there so bad, but this time I just was like really enjoying the show, like letting myself just enjoy the show and like not trying to put that in it. And I also did this because then I can actually watch it, like, and I'm not like picking it apart, like how could I do that better, and then in this show that I'm finishing up this weekend where I'm wardrobe manager, it's like one of the first times I'm doing wardrobe management where I'm like so grateful I'm not on stage. Like I am so glad I'm ironing during stage combat call, because fight call seems like so much work and I'm just over there like steaming clothes, like chilling, listening to music. So I don't know, when I watch stuff, like it used to be that having an acting degree and having like all that training ruined media for me, because I would pick apart everything because we were taught to like analyze everything to the tiniest detail. But I can kind of like remove myself from that now because it doesn't feel like I'm analyzing it to figure out how to get myself there.
Right.
Because the projects I'm doing, I'm actually passionate about. I remember saying yes to things just because, oh, that might get me closer to, this arbitrary goal of
Right. Okay.
relevancy, I guess. And so I think my work shows it too.
That's pretty awesome. I definitely got to take that piece of advice from you about enjoying the show and how to do that. Because yeah, it's a little too late. Like I when was it? Like the last like big venue I went to was Madison Square Garden, and like that's like I guess one of the most extreme, like picking apart every little detail. It's like it's too much if you try to start doing it.
Yeah.
Like I started doing it, and do you know Rage, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were both together. So by the way, for those who don't know Rage, he works with us at Queen's Theater. And yeah, we were both started to pick apart like the lighting, the sound system, and it's like, why don't we just like watch the show?
Honestly, it'll make you better person and better artist if you can actually like appreciate the art, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's what it was. I was like, when we were watching the artist, like, I know I'm not necessarily like a on stage performer, but I was thinking about like, I wonder what his set list is like and why he picks it in that order. And it's like, I have to start training myself to just like, don't think about that, man. Just enjoy. Just
Yeah, enjoy it. Think about it later. Enjoy it now. Really experience it, and then think about it. Write a review.
yeah, there you go. That's a good idea. That's a great idea.
Speaking of reviews, the show that I'm wardrobe manager for just got critics pick in the New York Times. So
Yeah, I think I know the name, but can you remind me?
it's Bruise and Thorn.
Yeah, it's Bruce and Thorn. Can you give us a little like brief synopsis of what it is?
Oh God, no! I can't explain it. It's like, okay, it's about a trans girl and her cousin, and her journey through basically experiencing her gender.
Yeah.
But the plot is like there's a cockfighting ring, there's a homeless guy, and it turns into these like drag chickens, and there's a cockfight, like where the cockfight is a Vogue battle. There's like death and glitter, and it just basically turns into like just gay at the end. It's like gay. The universe is now gay because of
That sounds interesting. I mean, I'm trying to picture like, but like you said, maybe it's a little too hard to just put like one thought.
Yeah, come see the show. It's $10.
Oh, okay. Is it this weekend that it's ending?
Yeah, it's the last weekend, Wednesday through Sunday.
Okay, I'll definitely come check it out because it sounds interesting. You probably should what's the word? Advertising person, because you gave me just enough that I'm interested, but not enough that I know what it's about. So that's perfect. That's perfect, right there.
Good. Oh,
But do you for the summer? I mean, I know people like us, we don't like to plan too far ahead, but do you know what the summer is looking like for you?
what do you mean? I plan like 5 years ahead. All the time.
Because like the next day, like you don't know what's gonna happen the next day. Like some shit might come up, so you try to be
True.
ready. That's what I mean. But I
And
don't.
in like 3 months,
There you
the
go.
next 5 years will be different. But yeah, I just got hired at um Merkin Hall. It's like adjacent to the Lincoln Center,
Oh,
and so that's kind of like my day job, I guess. I'm gonna be doing the fashion consulting, hopefully more and more, just kind of slow because you have to like build clients and stuff.
right.
And hoping that by like next year, I have clients that are going to purchase like pieces that I can build for them. So like I can make some clothes.
Well, something cool that I saw recently on your Instagram stories, by the way, go follow Casey at is it starring Casey Drane?
Mhm.
Nice. Okay. All one word. And you can keep up with what she does. But I saw that you must have been the fashion consultant for the latest music video, right? That you were in.
Yeah,
Were, were you in it, or were you? It was just
I
your.
wasn't in it. I was behind the camera pressing play and the music the whole time and then walking up to Petra, like fixing her hair and walking back. Yeah, so basically one of my close friends, pop artist, and she's actually my maid of honor for my
Oh,
wedding.
that's cool.
Yeah, she's my buddy. And she's a businesswoman. Like she's very smart. She's business minded. She is very creative. But the stuff that she doesn't care about, she doesn't care about. And they're not important and she won't pay any attention to it. But when it comes to being an artist and trying to stay relevant and keep eyes on you, fashion is really important.
Right.
And I was like, if you don't want to care about it, let me care about it. And then it'll help me build my portfolio. And then I can charge people a lot of money to do the same thing for. So basically, what I did is I kept doing the idea, and she's like, I don't know, I just don't think it's that important. So I drew the outfit with the two-tone pants
Mhm.
and the big chain. It was supposed to have a jacket as well. And she was like, okay, fine. And she bought the outfit and it worked. And now so we're planning out her next video and so on and so forth.
Nice. That's cool. I feel like that also helps her just focus on performing, right? Like she doesn't have. That's one less thing she has to worry about. So
She's also running a publishing company. I actually write songs for her publishing company as well.
right. Yeah, I think you
But
might.
that's
That nice.
more like I don't do that as often as I'd like to. It's a lot slower of a process for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know myself writing songs, at least good ones. Like, I mean, some people make it look easy, I know, but I don't think that's an easy thing to do for anybody. Yeah, you can write a song, but do you like it? Do other people like it?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I feel like my best songs I write fairly quickly. But I also have a couple of really good songs like Save Me a Dance. Took me like 8 months to write.
Okay.
So, but that one is like, really emotional for me. Whereas like Messy took me like an hour, and that one is pretty emotional for me as well. So,
Yeah, well, don't you think like sometimes that's why it just flows out because the emotions are like literally there. So you try to get it out fast before it goes away, and then that's
yeah,
within an hour, right?
totally. I mean, for Messy, it was like I've explained the way I feel about the thing that I wrote about a lot, through like 10 years of therapy. But I was like, I kind of already knew how I felt about it, and I just brought some imagery to it, and then yeah, it just like literally flowed out all the rhymes. I didn't even think about it, and then the song was done. And now I look back on it, I'm like, damn, it's so angsty, but it needed to be written. So, whereas Save Me a Dance, I probably rewrote it a good 10 or 12 times
Okay.
before I got to the point where it's at now. So,
Was it like did you find it a little hard because maybe you were in the same like headspace or just general space like throughout
um,
8 months?
Well, it's about my dad, and I wrote it over the main grieving process of losing him. So it was like I wrote it. I had started writing it before he passed away because he asked me to write. He the last time I spoke to him, he was fine, and so he was like, in the event that maybe I die one day, I'd like you to make my memorial video and like write a song for it.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
Hey,
Don't say
why would
that to
you ask
me.
that, right?
Like, why would you ask me that? It's awful. And that was the last time I spoke to him. So I started writing it, and it was the same. It was Save Me a Dance because it was like, stay alive so you can
Right.
walk me down the aisle one day. And anyway, so when he passed, it was like it had a whole different meaning. And that's kind of like the approach that I took to the song as well. And so because I was grieving, it was like really hard to get through it.
Right.
So I'd have to stop and take a break of like a week or so or more and then come back to it. And then just a couple weeks before my live stream, which is still the link in my bio on Instagram, because it's a good live stream. I finished it like a few days before and was like, okay, this is it. This is the way it is. And I didn't sing it right, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, first of all, well, thanks for sharing what you did, because I mean that's just not an easy topic in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then trying to perform it, it's like how are you not gonna like start feeling the emotions behind it, you know?
Oh my God. I still don't think I could sing it all the way through without choking up a little bit.
Yeah, but I hope.
But
Well, I mean, I definitely understand. I mean, I can't say I've gone through the same thing, but I try to put myself in your shoes, and it's like, I mean, first of all, writing a song and then performing it for the first time, and it's still like kind of fresh, you know. It's like, yeah, you gotta give it up to you for doing that, you know.
yeah, I'm very proud of that perform. It was really nice to perform again, and I'd like to do another one. I think I'm going to do another one in May.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like I mean, the way you set it up, it was like a legit show, you know. Obviously
Mhm.
in your living room or wherever it was.
Yeah, in my studio. Yep. I
Nice.
just got my friend Lucas to come over and play guitar for me. I went and like went over to my friend Kevin's place. He can't be in the apartment because he's allergic to my cat mom lifestyle. So I went to his place and recorded him singing his song so I could play it in the middle and take like a little break.
Okay, right.
And then the tech went all wrong and wonky, so I ended up using the whole break to like fix the audio.
Yeah.
But we got through it, and then so yeah.
Yeah, it's always like I mean, I think now like luckily we're like open to this because how much more it like opens the doors for us, you know, like the Zoom stuff and over the internet. Uh
Yeah.
but yeah, it's like you can't expect everything to be perfect as far as technology goes, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, you did your best, so that's really what matters. I'm pretty sure that's how you came out of that performance, right? Thinking like,
Yeah. I put timestamps in the comments somewhere so that you don't have to listen to me fuck up the first song and like forget the lyrics. I sing it at the end and I got all the lyrics right, but then the video cuts off. So it's just like a black screen of me finishing the song.
nice. But I mean, that's cool though, that because I feel like a lot of people, I mean, and rightfully so, like would just like go into a very just kind of a, I don't want to say low, but the depression would hit and they would just absolutely do nothing about it. They would just kind of sulk in it, and like rightfully so. Like I said, it's kind of how you grieve. But it's funny because I was just talking to my friend about the book The Alchemist. I've never read it, but that's always been an interest of mine. But then I told him, it's like, why do I need to read it now? Because I kind of get the message, the point of where they're trying to say. It's like you have to take, like, alchemy in real life. For at least what we can do is take like these like negative or bad experiences or whatever, and then turn them into gold. That's like, yeah, the literal version, I guess, would be turn your negative experiences into positive. So that's what you're doing. You're an alchemist. Congrats. you know?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I tried to, for a long time, I would just try to like, I like to sing things that like really feel like something.
Yeah.
So I tried to write music like that. But lately, after the passing of my father, like my whole perception of reality changed. It really did. Like I just see the world a little bit differently now. Like my priorities are different. The things I care about are different, you know. Just the way I just like if somebody's like really mean to me on the train or something, like just my patience is just so much. I just have so much more patience now. Like I'm just like, you're probably having a bad day, like get away from me. You know, like I'm just not even I
Yeah.
like what's the point of it? I'm a little more confident now as well, which is an interesting side effect to it. But um yeah, so the songs I'm writing now, they have just a little bit more underlying joy, you know. So I'm taking this kind of pain and turning it into joy, and that's beautiful to me.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's
Yeah,
what everybody should do, but it's a lot harder to
it's
separate.
hard.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's super hard. Yeah.
definitely. But I think, I mean, that's what I always tell people is like maybe like you have to go through really hard things in order for you to just like improve as a person. Because I mean, I wish that wasn't the case, but you know, like I mean, I kind of saw it the same for myself. There was a certain point where it's just like everything went bad, and then after that, like year or so, like you said, like my whole mindset just changed. It's like I don't, yeah, it's just everything is more positive. Then when I do think of negative thoughts, it's like, all right, you can complain about this, but like, are you gonna come up with a solution? Because if you just complain, then why?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I ask you a little bit about therapy? Because you did mention that. Uh,
Sure.
I mean, you
That's
don't have to
good.
tell me what you talk about, but is that like, does that help you get out ideas, like artistic ideas, just by like being there?
Yeah, so I think people have this idea that therapy is like, you know, crying and, you
Right.
know, digging into your past and ripping open all your traumas. And like, I guess there's a little bit to that sometimes, but I feel like the majority of days I'm just explaining like what I did that week.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have to speak out my thoughts. I think what was so hard about 2020, even aside from all the bad things that happened, was that I'm an extrovert. Like I need people, but I'm shy. So I'm not gonna like reach out. Like I just need like I was relying on the people I was seeing every day to like get my social battery rung up. And you know, I wasn't in therapy at that time and I was going crazy. Like I was just literally like I was having like nightmares and I
Um,
was just sad all the time, you know, and so as soon as I got back into therapy. I got diagnosed with ADHD, and it was like, okay,
yes,
that kind of makes sense. And it was feeding my depression, like it was really feeding it. And now that I have kind of like systems in place to keep my mind on track and stuff like that, depression is just like something I don't even think about day to day, which is awesome. But I woke up one day and I was like, I have no friends. So like, I have no one to call right now.
right.
I went on, let me just like shout out Bumble BFF because I made like 3 lifetime friends on there. And then I got overwhelmed and turned it off and then deleted the app.
That worked for you, at least temporarily.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
that's funny because I would think. I mean, I'm not saying you're not introverted or extroverted, but yeah, I feel like somebody like you would choose how and when and where they use their energy up. Because I mean, I don't know how you feel on a daily basis, but I feel like there's only so much I have, and there's days where I was like I can't talk to anybody because I need to recharge, kind of thing. And I'll
And
be
that would make you that would make you an introvert.
yeah,
I'm the opposite. If I spend too much time alone, I get really sad and I get really in my head and I have trouble, like I was saying, like I have trouble thinking a like through a thought in my head. Like I'll just think something over and over again. I won't like get to the end of it. Like I keep starting over and like working my way through it. And then by the time I get to the end of it, I've forgotten everything because I never said anything else. So I have to like speak my thoughts out. Sometimes I just call my mom to just like it's venting, but it's not normal venting where I'm like frustrated at things. I'm just trying to figure out how I feel about something.
Yeah,
And I don't need her to speak at all. Like I'll do all the talking. Just like sit and listen for me for a minute.
I found that because I do therapy too, and I found that like most of the time, like you don't get advice or anything. You're just talking, and there's just like I know it's kind of the stereotype that they'll be like, yeah, write a little thing down, but sometimes that's like literally all you need because like you figure it out yourself as you're talking.
Yeah. Well, my therapist will give me little like exercises to do, like breathing exercises to ground me again because I have trouble I'll get in my head and then I'm this. I also catastrophize where I'll be like, I did this right and this right and this right and this right, and I still can't even be 1 minute early to something. Like I'm always late all the time. And she's like, listen to yourself. Like your whole world is not ending because you were 10 minutes late to something. Like, yeah, but I just like can't get anything right. And just like that's catastrophizing. And she'll make me like rewrite my whole life story after that. So but,
I wish my like early 20s self would listen to these kinds of conversations because I used to do that kind of stuff all the time and I didn't know, like I didn't even know that I was doing it or that it was bad. You know? Yeah, but hey, that's why, you know, we get wiser and we grow.
yeah, I feel like because we're going into our 30s now,
Right.
I feel like our 30s are what our 20s were supposed to be.
Right.
Right? Like I spent my whole 20s like basically still being a teenager, I think.
Yeah, I can safely say at least the first half, it kind of continued from like all these like childhood what do you call them? Yeah, just like things that you did and you didn't even realize you were doing just because like that was how you were brought up or the norm around you or whatever. And then yeah, like I said earlier, fortunately, like, you know, hardships happen and that's kind of how, hopefully for everybody, but at least for me, how I kind of like was able to solidify who I am now.
Yeah.
Yeah, like stop trying to follow, you know, just be a follower, like just do you kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. I'm like way more confident. What I do at the show that I'm working at is I wear like a kooky outfit every day. I have all these like super weird clothes because I will go on like, you know, one of my favorite I have like 100 shopping websites that I love the like little clothes and boutiques and stuff. And I'll go and I'll buy a bunch of weird stuff and then I'll never wear it. I wear hoodies every day because I was just like, you know, well, and I was working at a restaurant, so I'd wear black
Right.
every day. So like, when was I going to wear these clothes? So every day I'm like trying to wear these pieces that I was always like a little bit ashamed to wear, and everyone loves it. I mean, being in a queer space helps because they're just like
Yeah.
they love weird, but
Right. Yeah.
and so that makes me more confident to wear the clothes I like and to express myself, you know, the way that I always wanted to, just because I can now.
Right.
I'm not afraid of anything. I don't care if people don't like it.
Right. Yeah, hell yeah. Man, I love that quote. I'm always gonna remember it. It's like your 30s and what your 20s were supposed to be like. So, because yeah, I mean, it's funny because not that I didn't have a good time in my 20s, but there were more, what's the word? There were more consequences if I only had a good time, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's like you're not, I mean, you know, I guess it depends with everybody, but you're not like prepared necessarily for all the fuck ups. You know? So that's you know kind of how you're learning. I guess that's how it is for everybody. I assume their 20s is their learning time. 30s
Oh yeah.
kind of enjoy, right?
Well, that and like my idea of a good time is different than it was,
Oh hell
you
yeah!
know.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Getting absolutely plastered just doesn't do it for me anymore. First of all, it's not worth it for a 2-day hangover.
Exactly. Like I physically can't do it anymore.
not worth it. A couple glasses of wine or like one or two margaritas, sure, I can have a good time with that. But like if I get too drunk, like, oh, then you're like throwing up or like not worth it.
Right. Yeah. There was a point where I was like, oh yeah, that's normal weekend stuff, you know. Yeah, it's like you go back to my 20-year-old self, be like, hey, listen, there's a lot
Yeah.
of yeah, it's a
One
lot.
of my new friends that I made on the Bumble BFF thing, when we first started hanging out, she was like, let's go out, let's go party. And like, okay, yeah, we can go dancing, but like then it gets old. I want to do something
Different.
different. I want to like, you know, I want to stimulate my mind. I want to do something
Exactly.
interesting. So we did like trivia night, and she came to see the show, and like we did like a painting thing. So there's like a
Nice.
bunch of cool stuff to do in this city besides get drunk.
Yeah, that's for sure. And that's once again, if my 20-year-old self would have heard this, it would have been a
Like, okay.
right. Yeah, that's another thing here. We're like, all right, lame-o. Like, what the hell? Like,
Ooh, I didn't think I would ever get old.
right. Hey, we're not old, we're just wiser.
Oh no, I always thought I was gonna die at 27. Like I was convinced. I was like, I'm okay. So when I turned 28, I was like, okay, what do I do now?
Uh, okay, so this is all new. You're taking it day to day, huh? Yeah, I mean, you did say it earlier. You kind of wherever your, I guess, feelings take you.
Yeah.
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 That's how I go. I mean, I know people are supposed to be logical, but I think that's how I end up with the people I surround myself in and the places. It's just like I see what it feels like, you know, because I don't think anything could beat that kind of intuition or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I mean, right. And we only have one life, right? So instead of YOLO, like do something reckless, like how about YOLO, enjoy yourself? You know,
Right.
like how about YOLO, like take care of yourself and like shower and like feed yourself a vegetable every now and then. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Uh, we're I hate saying these things, but we're getting close to the end.
Oh, okay,
So yeah, but I do have one more question from
sure.
our followers, and I really like this one, and we kind of talked about it a little bit. But it was, how do you feel about criticism from people close to you?
It's a good question.
Definitely.
I think that it's good. I think you should never surround yourself with people who don't care enough to tell you that they don't like something you're doing.
Right.
But at the same time, I think that's really important to keep toxicity out of your life. And if somebody is constantly criticizing you all the time and they're tearing you down, and especially the people that like jokingly tear
Oh,
you down,
yes. Right.
it's like there's a difference between like a little roast every now and then and like somebody who's like mean. You know, it's not funny. Like just because you're laughing doesn't make it funny. You know what I mean? That's not good.
So
So like you said, you have to kind of feel out,
okay,
see how you feel, after you're done hanging out with somebody. That's the best way to tell.
there you go. Yeah, some people,
Yeah.
they're like drain your energy or recharge you, kind of thing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that's
And
go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say that realizing that at some point made me realize when I was being the toxic person, made me realize when I'm draining other people's batteries.
Yeah,
I'm like, maybe I should distance myself from them because I'm no good for them. And that made me a better person.
that's pretty a cool way to look at things. Yeah.
I try.
I was gonna ask myself kind of a follow up. Like, do you have a way to know how to separate, you know, constructive criticism from haters? You know, because I feel like it could be very, you know, they could kind of blend into each other.
I think there's a couple ways you can do it. You can ask every single person you know and kind of like take a poll, you know, or what I like to do is just, I mean, and I've been doing this for years, is I just need an audience to hear the thing. And I actually don't care what you feel about it. Because once I have said it to you, then I know how I feel about it, whether like before you even react.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I do that with my songs. Like I'll write a song and I'll sing it for somebody. And if I still like it, then I'll perform it on a test audience. And if I don't like it anymore, then I will put it away for a while, and if I do like it, then those are the ones I try to like record and keep in my repertoire and stuff.
Okay. I have a question about that now that you brought that up. Do you have like maybe it's just me at the point where I am, but do you have like a way to not seem so like when you're trying to test something out with people, you like straight up ask them like, can you listen to the song and tell me, or like do you, because like what I've been doing recently is like, if I'm somewhere public where there's a bunch of people, I'll just play the song and then try to look at their reactions instead of like directly asking them like, do you like it or do you not like it? Like, because to me that seems a little like, start looking desperate. Like, do you like me?
Wow, you like really are an introvert. That's so funny. No, I mean, listen, I only like attention when it's for the right reasons. Like I really hate negative attention. But I'm not like against criticism. Like I enjoy somebody that can be brutally honest with me. Like, no, girl, this isn't it. I usually will just play it to somebody I really trust first.
Okay.
And then I like set up a situation where it's appropriate to be listening to my music, like
Right.
I'll do a concert and I'll have like one new song. And I just think it's good to be honest, like, hey, this is my new song. I'm just gonna play it. And if it sucks, like, fuck off.
Right. Right. That's a very good way to put it, because you don't get in your head and start overthinking and like, like maybe it really is a good song, but it's just not their type. Right.
Yeah. I mean, you have to like lampshade yourself. Like lampshading is when you like say something before someone else can point it out. Like you say like, oh, like I know my hair is like flat, so that way when they criticize you, it doesn't like hurt as bad. Usually is like why you do it. And it keeps people from doing it. So like, oh, she's self-aware. So you have to kind of like do it to yourself,
Yeah, makes sense. That's cool. I love that advice. I hope everybody, even if you don't write songs or are an artist, take that advice.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you help like as an introvert like me, get out of the shell a little more. It's funny because that's another thing that like over these over my 20s, like I was a super like turtle kind of thing. Like I know why, thanks to therapy and just talking it through. Like I understand why I did that. But now I guess I'm technically still an introvert, but I know that like there has to be a good balance between everything. So
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, low key, you just helped me out. Thank you.
No problem. I mean, being an introvert is not a bad thing. It doesn't mean you're socially anxious. That's its own thing, being socially anxious,
Right.
And
Right.
introverted just means you need your alone time sometimes,
Yeah, exactly. And like I eventually learned that I could embrace that. And just because other people don't want me to be like that doesn't mean like I shouldn't be like that. Like,
yeah, who gives a fuck? I think the pandemic kind of like showed us where we all are on that social spectrum, for sure.
Yeah. Just, I mean, it's kind of cool. Obviously, the pandemic wasn't that cool. It's how a lot of people finally got to like spend time to themselves that they never did, that they probably had to in order to figure themselves out, kind of thing.
Yeah, no, the pandemic was absolutely awful. I'm just doing silver linings, trying to find silver linings everywhere they are. Though it was literally 2020 is the worst year of my life. Like I'm not even gonna lie. But there are good things that came out of it.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's another thing that I'm pretty sure you see life this way now. Is like every bad thing that happens to me, every like negative thing that pops up on a daily basis, like there's something at the end of this that's positive. So you just kind of push through that, and
Yeah, for sure. Like I'm not a believer in everything happens for a reason. No, like, whatever, like whether it does whatever. But there's always something positive. There's always hope. There's always like something tomorrow. I mean, unless you die or whatever, then there's nothing tomorrow. But
I can give you a good example of this morning. This morning, maybe the ghosts in here were just fucking with me, but like everything kind of kept falling. Like I had 2 broken glasses like this morning, and I was rushing out trying to get to work. Before I would have been like, fuck, like damn it, what the hell? Like, why is the day starting like this? But now I'm like, all right, whatever, just clean it up and just get another one later, I guess.
Yeah, less clutter in your house.
Yeah, exactly. Like to worry about now, I guess. But yeah, thank you. I mean, I hate, once again, I hate ending this, but we can't go forever.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, thank you very much, Casey. You're always an awesome guest.
Thank you.
I hope we get to do things outside of this podcast as well. I mean,
Yes, please.
we definitely will. It's about time. But hey, I think you're always one of the. I mean, I'm gonna agree with people. Yeah, you definitely are one of the better guests.
Thank you. Anytime.
And
Honestly.
just one thing we're starting to do now. You're gonna be the first guinea pig. Now, don't worry, it's something you're gonna like.
Okay.
For the little musical, well, this might be an exception because the musical interlude, I will put one of your songs, but
Okay.
it's usually like a little instrumental I make for people, for the guests, and I try to like, you know, base it around them, like feeling wise.
Cute.
So what I want to do now, starting from today, is get you, the guest, to well, you obviously have musical instruments, including your voice, but pick anything you want that's close to you, and yeah, just make the noise, and we'll put that as an element of the.
Oh my goodness.
So,
No, you can't put me on the spot like this.
yes, I did. Look, I'll give you an example. This is what I'm gonna do. I don't know if people hear it. I know that sounds lame.
I mean, okay. I got my little.
Okay. You.
Yeah.
There you go. Nice. I mean, I already hear that as a clap. So there you go. Awesome. Thank you very much, Casey. It's always a pleasure talking to you, whether it's on the podcast or not.
Wait, I want to do a different one.
Okay. Gladly. What is that? Are those coasters?
Yes.
Oh. All right, I'm gonna shut up so you can make the noise again.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Is that good?
Now I just have to turn the creativity up. Let's see what we come out with that. Yeah, guys, everybody go follow Casey Drane, starting Casey Drane on Instagram. And what else do you have? I assume you have like TikTok and Snapchat and all that.
I have a TikTok. Mostly there's just a lot of cleavage. I have my YouTube where I have all of my favorite things. And then my SoundCloud has all of my music. And
yeah, definitely check her out. I mean, I try to download everything as much as I can. So I'll obviously put the links to everything because why not? And anything else you want to add before we sign off?
I mean, I have a website, caseydrane.com or starringcaseydrane.com. It's the same. And where I put all my modeling photos. So like, if you think I'm pretty, go look at my photos.
It's funny because for the longest time, I thought it was starting.
No.
I know. It's starring like a star.
Yeah. Like when you see like a movie and it's like starring.
Yeah, I know. I always thought it was starting. Like we're starting with this actress.
No, and it's like kind of cheeky too because when I did end up doing a film, it was like starring. Exactly. I was like, yeah, that's it. That's what I'm talking about.
Makes sense. Well, thank you, Casey Drane is definitely a star. Go check her out. Hopefully, you get to meet her in person before she becomes too famous.
Oh God.
Hopefully not. Well, yeah, thanks once again. Thanks to the listeners for staying with us, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.
I hope you enjoy that. I hope you enjoy the little interlude music. Yeah, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna be doing that from now on. You know, whenever we have I was gonna say Skype like it's 10 years ago. Whenever we have a Zoom, whenever we have a Zoom episode like this, we're gonna try to make it a little more interesting. So if you have cool ideas that we could do, I'm not gonna pull them out all at once. I've been given some cool ideas by some people. I will try to get some people to come on the podcast as well, and we'll try the cool ideas out with them. Other than that, stay tuned for more JXD entertainment content throughout the summer, and announcements and news and collaborations, and all that good stuff. And remember, if you wanna collaborate with us, if you think you are talented, if you know you are talented, even if you think, we will determine. But actually, it's funny. I think the world determines if you're talented after you think you're talented. Actually, you know what? I'll take that back. Nobody even knows how this shit works, man. You just go do your thing, and the universe and you will figure it out. It all line up on its own. So just go do you. Go do the stuff. Don't just talk about doing the stuff. Go do it. Even if it's slow and steady, but as long as you're doing it, you're doing it. Alright? Can't always talk shit. Anything else that I should mention? No, the summer's almost here. It's a little breezy today. And I am in my car, so you don't hear the breeze. It's very windy. But it's beginning to look a lot like summer. So look out for stuff that we're gonna put on. And I'm not going to talk a lot because I'd rather do it and not talk. That was terrible. You should have, I'm sorry because I'm wasting like 30 seconds of your life. Thank you very much, guys. I'll talk to you later.